Today we're working with graphing and data word problems. So for each of these, you're going to use the pictures next to them to answer all of the questions. Okay, so we're going to look at these two graphs for our first three questions. We can see here that it's the amount of money raised. So it's 50, 30, 10, and we have two people, Mr. Dan and Mrs. Randy. And this looks like the next month with Mr. Dan and Mrs. Randy. You can see where each of these bars stop is how much money that was raised. So for our first question, how much money did Mrs. Randy's class earn in February? So we look and we find February right here, and we find Mrs. Randy, and we look all the way up, and it looks like it's in between, right in between 30 and 50. It looks like everything's counting by tens. So if we go 10, 20, 30, 40, so we can say that this bar right here ends up at $40. For number 2, it says how much more did Mr. Dan's class raise than Mrs. Randy's in January? So we go over here to January, we can see Mr. Dan raised probably about 50 or 45, because it's above this line, which we know is 40, but not quite to 50. And Mrs. Randy earned 30. If we follow this imaginary line across, we can see she's 30. So to figure out what that difference is between 45 and 30, we would have to subtract. Remember, every time there is difference, we subtract. So we do 5 minus 0 is 5, 4 minus 3 is 1. So he earned $15 more in January than Mrs. Randy. For question 3, how much money did Mr. Dan raise in January and February? So we can check here. Remember, in January he earned 45. In February, if we look over 10, 20, so we add that together. 45 plus 20. Five plus 0 is 5. 4 plus 2 is 6. So we'd say $65 is what he earned in January and February. For the next couple, you can go ahead and use the same ones. Remember to check if there's something like this. This says each little board game piece is 4 games. So we'd know that Thursday, it's not 2 games. It would be 4 8 games. And it's the same here. If it's a half of 4 is 2. So Sunday is 2 games. So go ahead and you can use this graph to answer these 3 questions. And then the bottom, you're going to use these 2 graphs. Remember, these dotted lines are 2 different columns to answer the last 3 questions. And if you have any questions for me, please ask at our Zoom meeting.